Hello everyone, today I am going to be displaying my Superman mod in honor of the new Superman movie. This mod is still a work in progress and any bug reports or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Before we get started, I have to make clear that for this mod to work, you need to have data-driven jigsaw structures in experiments turned on. With that, let's get into it. The only recipe we're going to be needing from the crafting table is for the superstation where all the other crafting will be done. Now, as you can see, it has a few recipes like the centrifuge, which requires 3 iron ingots and a heavy weighted pressure plate, platinum kryptonite, which requires 4 platinum kryptonite fragments, kryptonite, which requires 9 kryptonite fragments, a kryptonite sword, kryptonite fabrics, an empty vial, and different clothing that is made from the fabrics. Now, let's get on to how to get the powers. Firstly, to get the powers, you're going to need an empty vial. After using it for a while, you release it and you get a blood vial. Now you're going to need 3 more empty vials with a platinum kryptonite to make platinum kryptonite vials. Now we're going to be taking these, taking out a centrifuge, placing the centrifuge and placing first the vial of blood, then placing a vial of platinum kryptonite, and as it does its thing, we get a Kryptonian blood vial. Now, there are two ways powers work in this mod. There is the half Kryptonian way, which is the case for Superboy, and then there is the full Kryptonian way, which works for Superman, Supergirl, and Zod. Now, drinking from the vial, we can get the half Kryptonian powers, which there's a 95% chance of getting, versus the Kryptonian powers, which is only a 5% chance of getting. And that gives us the glasses. And this has made me come to the realization that 5% is way too rare. The chances are now 85 to 15. Now, you may be wondering how you can get the platinum kryptonite or maybe even the regular kryptonite. Well, the first way is that there is some on the in the overworld, sorry, which you can mine for, the kryptonite being less rare than the platinum kryptonite, or or that the Kryptonian pod will fall from the sky randomly in the world, and it essentially works like a loot box where you can simply go up to it, interact with it to open it, and it spits out items. You would probably want to get rid of the fire first, though, if you don't want to lose your items. And you can do this thrice, after which it despawns. It can give you platinum kryptonite white Kryptonian fabric, along with blue Kryptonian fabric, and a whole platinum kryptonite shard, which is fairly rare. Now, let's move on to the actual powers. We will first be testing out the full Kryptonian powers, and to simply activate them, you have to sneak and interact with the glasses, and it will open up this menu. And for the sake of this, for the video, I have decided to give myself the fourth super level, which to unlock you will need to beat the 3 bosses, and which in order give you heat vision, thunderclap, and frost breath. Firstly, heat vision. Heat vision, you simply interact with the item and it will just set things you see on fire, whatever you're looking at will get hit. And actually, before we move on to the next power, there is a different flying system in this. So instead of relying on Education Edition using Mayfly, I have implemented my own flight system, which you need to activate by sprinting and holding jump, and you start flying. You also float in the air and you can fly fairly fast, or you can stop and move around in the air as you wish. Now, if you crash, you don't fly straight into the ground, you don't get hurt. The next power is Thunderclap, which is invisible and as a projectile, and it sends out projectiles in front of you and can do some decent knockback. You charge it for at least 2 seconds, you release it, and you see it does a decent amount of damage, not a lot, but it does more knockback. As for frost breath, it is also not an offensive attack, and again you have to interact with it for 3 seconds, and you freeze water into ice, the ground into snow, or lava into obsidian, or whatever you hit gets slowness. And that is all for the powers for the full Kryptonians for now. Now, moving on to the half Kryptonian powers. Simply, again, you sneak, you interact, and it opens up this menu. And the half Kryptonian is in almost the same as a normal Kryptonian, except for two aspects, which is first, you can see the telekinetic shield. I wanted to base the Superboy of Young Justice, but I also did not want to make him. Uh, I actually wanted to also make him an option, so I adapted a comic power where he has a not exactly, but he has a telekinetic shield and he has telekinesis. But I adapted only telekinesis to not make him too OP. And this shield, as long as you interact with it and up to 10 seconds or 8 seconds, it protects you from any kind of damage. But it only lasts for 8 seconds and you cannot attack anyone while you're using it. The other aspect in which he is different is instead of flying, you simply hold down the jump button, and when you release, you do a charge jump. Now, if you jump too high, then you will slam into the ground and die. So you have to hold it for about a limit of 3 to 4 seconds. Or if you want to use it to get somewhere really high, and then you would not take damage. And another change that he has is that he takes much less damage. Well, not much less, but is decently less affected from kryptonite. While Superman is affected at a longer range and by a heavier poison effect for longer and has just generally more dramatic effects, Superboy is less so, and his poison will last for a shorter time and will also do less damage. Another thing is that when you're near Kryptonite, you cannot use super jump anymore or fly. Now, you may have seen a structure in the distance made out of quartz. We will not be going to such structure, as I want you to discover that yourself. However, that is the second boss fight. The first one is in a mesa, which is Zod. You can read about the boss fights on the mod page, and you need to beat Zod before you can go to the second boss fight, which may also directly lead you into the third boss fight. But that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you download the mod. Thank you.